Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a brand new plugin from Sound Device Digital called Pluralis. Hey friend, thanks for stopping by the channel. My name is Robert McClellan and this channel exists to simplify the complexities of the home studio and to help you make professional sounding music in a less than professional space. You know, with all the drama that's surrounding the 𝗬𝗲 plugin company right now, there's a ton of people who have just been literally jumping ship. They're not going to use their plugins at all anymore. For those of you who are going to do that, I completely understand exactly where you're coming from. Now, for me personally, I am still going to be using 𝗬𝗲 plugins sparingly, at least for plugins that I cannot find a replacement to that does some kind of specific something within my mixes. Now, what I have been doing is actively searching out alternative plugins, and I'm going to try to create a playlist here on the channel for those of you who may be looking for alternatives to 𝗬𝗲's plugins, and it's going to be called Use This, Not That. Now, if this is something that you'd like to see more of, leave a comment in the comment section down below and let me know if I should actually continue doing this series or not. Now, if you think that's a waste of time and you would rather see some different content from this channel, say for instance, some mix tips and tricks, then go ahead and leave that in the comment section as well. In fact, I'll even include a poll on the community section where you can take a vote on that. Likewise, before we get to this plugin shootout, also in the description of this video, there is contained a link that will take you to a spreadsheet that has an exhaustive list of all of the 𝗬𝗲's plugins on the left side and on the right side, all of their alternatives, and a heartfelt thanks to those individuals over the KVR audio forum as well as gearspace.com forum for providing that spreadsheet. Okay, so right out of the gate, taking a look at this plugin, I'm like, wow. I mean, you can make this thing full screen if you wanted. It's kind of crazy. Like it literally will take up your whole screen if you'd like to do that. But it's resizable. The GUI looks really sleek and stylish. I like the way that it looks, very modern. The other aspect of this though is, you know, what's under the hood, what's going on here. So the bypass button is actually an on-off button. We're just going to really quickly kind of breeze through some of these controls here to kind of show you what those do. But basically you have a sync, which will sync it up to your actual BPM within your DAW. You have a feedback filter, and then you have a freeze option. So that right there is immediately like got some cool stuff going on. But then you can actually set this thing to 4 different modes. So you have a left-right mode, a mid-side mode, a low-high, and a quiet-loud. So the quiet-loud is almost sort of like a dynamic delay, how that would react to just the louder parts of the audio, and the quieter parts it would not react to. The low-high is the frequency range, whether you want to have that only affect the high frequencies or the low frequencies. The mid-side is obviously either the sides or the mid or the left-right. So essentially with just the 4 modes that we've just talked about, you already have a ton of options at your fingertips. It's actually kind of overkill maybe, but we'll see, because if you remember correctly, the CLA plugin, the Epic plugin that we're kind of pitting this thing up against, it also has overkill, but to me at least, this seems more intuitive. And I'm not just saying that because of the way that 𝗬𝗲's treated everybody. I mean that. Okay, so moving down below that, you can set your time here, straight, triplets, and dotted notes. You can also adjust the gain of the delay, the feedback of the delay, the panorama of the delay, and color, which would be more like an analog coloration of that, which was, in my estimation, I feel like is just from the little bit of time that I played around with this just a minute ago, it seems like it's like a little bit of saturation, like a little bit of grit on the edges, which is really cool. And then down here, you have your modulation section. And within the modulation, you can set all of the level, rate, the feed or feedback, and the dispersion of that modulation. And it's very organic sounding, for lack of a better term. I also love the fact that this has a blend knob. So you can blend in completely dry, completely wet, or a blend of the two. I've got it set right now to something that I feel like kind of really works for the electric guitars that we're going to be listening to. I'm going to bypass the Pluralis first, and we're going to pull up the CLA Epic. Now this is on a stereo recorded set of guitars. One of them has been panned to the right, one to the left. These are 2 different takes, and they were from a stereo rig. So they do have a lot of depth already baked into them sort of under the hood. Now, this is a setting called Electric Wash that I kind of dialed in to make it sound good. Now, each one is different on each guitar, but they're essentially the same. So this is what you get with the CLA Epic. other than the amp hiss that you're getting off of there, doesn't sound too bad. In fact, I kind of like leaving some amp hiss in there anyway. I'm going to go ahead and take the CLA Epic off just so you can kind of hear that last little phrase there by itself without any coloration from the CLA Epic. So that's the depth that the pedal board itself is giving. Now I am doing this intentionally in a very subtle manner because I want you to hear not an overblown exaggeration of the CLA Epic. I want this to be as fair as possible. So I'm not going to like over exaggerate it and make it sound like trash. And then you go, oh, wow, clearly the other one sounds better. That's not what we do on this channel. We actually have some real shootouts and we're honest about our reviews. So this is very subtle, but I want you to take a listen to the before and after. And so this is before the CLA Epic is introduced. This is completely dry. The only effects now are coming off the pedal board itself. Now the delay that's on there right now is actually the Wampler Metaverse. Let's go ahead and throw on the CLA Epic. Yet again, very subtle, but let's take a listen. The intention of this was to get it to sort of expand farther than the left and right stereo fields from what the pedal was just providing itself. I always like to dial my pedals in a little bit tamed down from what I would normally, like in a live setting. That way, if I want to do something like this later, I can still add it in later, but I can't take it away a lot of times. So that's what that sounded like. Now let's listen to what I've got dialed in here with the Pluralis. And it's kind of the same, but the settings are different in the sense that on one of these here, I actually have it only affecting the lows and highs, and the crossover point is 3000 hertz or kilohertz. So it's really mainly just affecting those high frequencies and barely affecting the lower frequencies. And that's on the left side. Now on the right side, I've got it going left and right, and I'm kind of doing a dotted eighth on one side and a quarter on the other, whereas on this one here, I'm doing a dotted eighth on the opposite side and a quarter on the other. So let's give this a listen. Now, in my opinion, that sounds gorgeous. Now, could that be obtained using the CLA Epic? Absolutely. I think either one of these plugins is a great contender for something like this. However, I do have to say that I feel like just based off of how this thing looks and how it reacts and dialing sounds in, I have to say, if I can actually pull it up here, I just feel like that the Pluralis is just more straightforward. There's not quite as many knobs and buttons and sliders and faders and all these A/B groups, and there's just a lot of stuff going on this plugin. And it just seems like, honestly, I can dial in something a lot quicker with this because it's just more intuitive. So the question is then, which one would you use? Now, I'm going to try this on maybe a lead vocal real quick, and we'll just kind of see what we can get out of that. Okay, so this is going to be kind of an interesting experiment. I've got this on a lead vocal, which is me, and I'm not the greatest singer, so please bear with me. But this is going to be kind of cool, I think, because the setting on this now for the mode is quiet loud. And I have the crossover set at -5.23 dBs here. So basically -6 dBs, which means it's not actually going to kick in until it reaches that threshold. So this can be really useful if you want to throw a delay on a vocal only, but maybe you have a guitar playing in the background. Maybe you've recorded a singer-songwriter with one microphone and you want to affect the vocal only. This could be a really cool way to do that. And I'm going to kind of demonstrate that here. He walked a lonesome road filled with hurt and shame, and those that he held close betrayed him all the same. He bore a crown of thorns. Okay, that'll be enough of that horrible presentation there. But aside from the singing, the Pluralis itself did a great job of not putting delay where it didn't need to be, but putting it right where it needed to be. Now, obviously, I would need to dial that in a little bit more to make that set better within the context of the mix. But so when you have everything kind of thrown in here sort of in context with the mix, let's go ahead and hear what this is doing on the guitars as well as on this vocal. We'll start here with the guitars. Okay, now the vocals should be coming in here in just a minute. Placed him in a tomb. It seemed all hope was lost, though the flesh had died, the spirit was still. I love that tail. Now, as with most of the plugin reviews that we do here on the channel, we don't just review the plugin, but we also give one away to you, the viewer. So one lucky winner is going to win a copy of this for free. However, if you don't win, there is an introductory offer right now that you can pick this up for a measly $19 US. However, that said, with all the United plugins that's on their plugins website, you can actually download a free trial version of this that's fully working for 15 days. And try it before you buy it. As you can see, the introductory price, whenever it changes, will go up to $79. So you're getting 76% off if you buy it now. And honestly, that's a steal of a deal. So use the link in the upper right-hand corner of your screen or the link that's in the description of this video if you'd like to enter in to win a copy of this for free. Hey, quick question. Do you have any plugin alternatives to the one that we've covered today? Is it free or is it another paid version? Drop that in the comment section down below and share that with the community. Until next time, remember, we can dream alone, we can even create alone, but together we can achieve so much more.